exams. So what can we do about this? There are two ways. One way is called precautions, and I heard from pharmacy, it might be 1 month before that they discussed the issue, and they said they might apply certain precautions to make it a little bit more difficult for those who intend to cheat, to make it more difficult for them to cheat. And I asked universities, other universities, what are the precautions they intend to do other than the technical ones. There are technical ones, regarding technology, but there are assessment precautions which make it a little bit more difficult for students to cheat. For example, I heard from pharmacy about a month ago that they might use some more questions to make the students busy working through the questions rather than trying to cheat. Also, they might also make the time limited time so that they do not have the chance to cheat. Maybe increase the number of questions that require thinking. Maybe use more writing questions. So when they are actually writing, they do not find it easy to get. So there are a number of academic assessment methods to make it harder for students to cheat. The other ones are technical. So technical, for example, during the quizzes or assessment activities, we might use certain technical settings that makes it harder. For example, the shuffling of the questions, the barring of going back to the questions. I mean, once you finish the question, you cannot go back to it. So there are technical IT solutions to make it harder for students to cheat. So this is one aspect. This is not the issue of our discussion today. The issue of our discussion, if we discover that the results are not normal, are not as we expect them to be, what can we do? This is our issue today, and I'm going to start my presentation. So our talk today is about standard setting, and it is going to be divided into four aspects. First, we will start with some definitions and the purpose of standard setting. Then we are going to discuss the types of standard setting. Then how it is done, the process of standard setting, and there are certain methods which are applied. So these four aspects, we will go through them one by one in the form of a discussion. So let us start with the definitions. Uh, can can we start by defining them and defining the meaning of standard settings? Then we conduct a little discussion about it. A standard setting is a determination of a cut score. You determine a cut score to be used as a reference for the interpretation of students' results before pass, fail, or grading decisions are made. So before the exams, you need to determine the cutoff scores. Somebody might tell me or raise a point that cut scores are already determined. Can we start a discussion on this? Are cut scores, I mean the pass mark, the grades, who gets an A, who gets a B, who gets a C, who gets a D, etc., are already set. Are they already set? Can we do some this definition, determining a cut score before the exam? Some discussion, please. Yes, Jihan or Islam. Islam, yes, you want to talk?
I want to understand exactly what's meant by a cut score, and
Cut score.
and it is referred to every quiz by itself or for the overall evaluation.
Thank you very much for the question. A cut score to start with is defining a pass grade or pass mark and a cutoff to determine who gets a grade. I mean, who gets an A. For example, uh, 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 the policies say a student who gets above 80% gets an A. 90% gets an A, 80% gets a B, and so on. These are the cut scores. Now, the second question, let me answer the second question, then make an overall comment. Yes, it can be done for individual assessment activities and the result of the overall result of the course. So you can do it for this and you can do it for this. You can do it for individual activities. For example, you prepare an exam, mid one or mid two or final or whatever, then you determine the pass mark for that particular exam. Or you wait until you collect all the results and then decide on a cut score, but you decide before. Today we are going to discuss how do we decide on the results of an exam and the results of a course. How do we decide? So thank you for asking. There are two aspects to this. Okay, let us continue. As you know, evaluation or assessment, evaluation if you are in Europe and assessment if you are in the United States, the steps of the overall process. The overall process are four. The first step is called measurement or assessment. The exams, the assessment during learning activities, assignments, discussion forums. When you record performance of students in these activities, this is called measurement. The second step, converting this measurement into values or assigning a value judgments on these measurements. This is called evaluation. And then there is interpretation. How you look at these values. And this is the area which we are discussing today because we need to be able to interpret the results. You stated your worries as being you don't want to be unfair to good students and unfair to not so good students. So you need to be able to interpret the performance of these students, to interpret. So interpretation is the third step, and it precedes decision making. Okay. So these are the four steps of evaluation. So today we are interested in this third step, which is the interpretation of results. So we need to set standards for passing or grading. So the scores or the values themselves without a reference value do not mean anything. So if you just have a score, a 65 on its own doesn't mean anything. You need to have a reference value to interpret these assessment values. So the reference values are called standards, and so they need to be interpreted with reference to a standard, these values, and this is why reference standards need to be determined. You need to determine a particular cutoff score for the interpretation of results. This is the why. So interpretation must precede decision making, and this is why it is very important. Now, we have certain terms which are important to define before we move ahead with the process of standard setting. The first term is called, what is an expert judge? Because we are going to use this term. This term is found in academia, is found in medical education and general education literature. They use expert judges in the field of academia. Anybody heard of the term expert judge in academia?
No.
Now,